Hi fellow book lovers, it's Sophie and welcome to a haul video. So these are books I've acquired over the past month or two. I have 16 books in total. And yeah, so let's just get right into it. So starting off strong, we have the Cerulean? Yeah, that makes sense, Cerulean. We have The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And if you see me looking down, I'm just looking at my notes. So this is about a famous actress in Hollywood, and she does kind of a tell-all with a then unknown journalist, and it's about her love life, but also how she kind of got her like rise to fame and all those things too. So I'm sure everyone's heard of this book. Super excited to get into that. It's on my January TBR as well. And then next, also by Taylor Jenkins Reid, we have Daisy Jones and the Six. This book is super interesting because it's actually all dialogue. It's not in quotations or anything like that. It's just straight on the page. So it's the story of a band and the lead singer, Daisy Jones. How they made it big, and also I heard there's like a romance in there, which is super fun. I don't really know a ton about this book. I just was super into the dialogue, the way the dialogue was written, and the cover looks really interesting and just the premise. So I decided I'd give that a shot too. Next, we're getting into a hardcover, For Your Own Good by Samantha Downing. This is a book about a teacher at a prestigious high school, and he wants to push the kids to their full potential. Meanwhile, while he's working with these kids, these deaths are happening that are starting to look more and more like murders, as well as the student is digging into his past and trying to uncover all his secrets. So it's definitely a thriller. I love thrillers. My top two genres are romance and thrillers for sure, so I'm definitely gonna have to give this one a good check out as well. Next, we have the first in the Brown Sisters trilogy, Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. So this is a romance, and all three of them are romances as well. Chloe Brown makes a list of all the things she wants to do. She's been chronically ill her whole life, and she wants to get out there. She calls it her Get a Life list. So she wants to get out there and kind of do all the things from riding a motorcycle to going camping, and do all the things she just hasn't been able to do before. Red steps up and helps her complete this list, and then they kind of fall in love on the way. So I love a good series. This is the first romance series I think I'm gonna ever read, so I'm excited. I've heard that this book is very good. I've also heard that other books are very good, so if I like this book, I'll definitely pick those up. Next, we have The Kiss Quotient by Helen. This is also in a trilogy of sorts. I think it's The Kiss Quotient, The Bride Test, and The Heart Principle. They're in this series, even though it's a little less connected, I think, than the Get a Life, Chloe Brown, but I could be wrong. I'm not really 100% sure. So this is a romance about our main character, Stella, and Stella's on the spectrum, so she kind of decides that she needs practice in the romance development, so she finds someone to help her with this practice. And what begins as like a simple partnership just for practice turns into like a real, true, full-blown relationship. Next, we have The Dinner by Herman Koch, and I see on the back that there's something from actually Gillian Flynn, and she wrote Sharp Objects, which is one of my favorite thrillers of all time. So when I saw that, I was like, I need to get into this. I love a good thriller. I love a good tension building thriller where like your heart is racing and you just can't wait for the pages to turn, and you're kind of just sitting there and you're just ready. This is about two couples who meet for dinner to discuss their two sons, and what starts as, exchanging pleasantries and small talking and all that kind of stuff, the tension starts to build as they get into discussing what their two sons did, and it turns out that they just committed a horrific act with police involved, and we kind of get to figure out what they actually did, how the parents are going to handle it, and how far they'll go to protect those that they love. Now we have One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. This is a young adult thriller mystery kind of thing, and I've heard a ton about this, obviously, because the show just came out, so that made the book a lot more popular lately. I haven't seen the show, I haven't read the book, so I'm going into it completely blind, and I'm super excited about that. So it's the idea that 5 kids walk into detention and only 4 of them exit, so one of them has been murdered, and it's a mystery trying to figure out which one killed the 5th kid in detention. Okay, so not only did my phone drop, but I actually had it upside down. So that's super fun. Next, moving on to The House of the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Cloon. This is described as like a romance where the main character, Linus, has to decide if the orphans in the story are actually super dangerous or not. So that makes me think it's a little bit of fantasy. And again, I don't really know a ton about this book, but it was described to me as like romance meets fantasy, and I don't read a ton of fantasy, so I was super excited about that. And I find that when there's romance in the genre, like a little bit of romance, I can kind of read any genre. So yeah, looking forward to this one. It's supposed to be super fantastical and cute. Yeah, I think it looks like a young adult, but I'm pretty sure it's adult. I'm not sure though. Next, we have Five Total Strangers by Natalie D. Richards. So this is another thriller. Can you tell I like thrillers? In the midst of a blizzard, our main character, Mira, gets in the car with some total strangers, people she doesn't know. And what starts as sort of a friendly ride soon turns into something not so friendly. And she needs to uncover the secrets and really what's going on in order to get home safe. Next, we have The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. And not only does it have a beautiful cover, but it has a very beautiful story as well. So it's about two twin sisters, Desiree and Stella. They're both African American. And that's important because one of them passes as a white woman, while the other one does not, living with her daughter. And even though they live far away from each other and their lives don't seem to be super connected, it turns out that their stories are super intertwined, and it turns out their daughter's stories are also intertwined. So that's going to be an interesting read for sure. Next, we have The Time Traveler's Wife by Audrey Niffenegger. And this is a thick one. She's thick. She is, let's see here, how many pages? Oh my god, over 500 pages. So that's a thick book. That's good though. So this is also kind of a sci-fi with a romance. This is a story about the lives of two people, Henry and Claire. And so Henry is traveling through time, and his life is constantly crashing into Claire's life. And they try to have a normal life, but unfortunately they can't due to his time travel. Next, we have Anxious People by Frederick Bachmann. And I've actually already started this book. Kind of got a little bored of it, to be honest. It was a little slow for me. I got to page 27. I'm gonna give it more of a chance than that. But yeah, it was a little slow for me. It did get a little boring. It's a story about the lives of a group of people who were taken hostage at a real estate showing. And it's about their desires, their secrets, their dreams, the little intricacies of their lives and stuff like that. So it should be pretty interesting. I think I just have to get into it and really just go full steam ahead and get into it. Okay, last thriller, The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. So our main character, Rachel, every day she takes the same morning commute. Same train, passes the same family in the windows, so much so that she, has nicknames for them. They're like part of her stable life. And then one day she sees something super shocking and terrifying, and she goes to the police, and it turns out that her life gets super intertwined with this couple's lives more than she ever thought it would. Okay, and now we have Miss Coho. We have Maybe Someday by Miss Colleen Hoover, one of my favorite author. I've read Verity, Ugly Love, and November 9 by her, and I loved all of them. All were 5 stars except November 9th, which was 4. So I was super excited to pick these two up. This is Maybe Someday, and this is It Ends With Us, which is arguably her most famous, best book. I haven't read it yet. I'm super excited to get into it. But first, starting with Maybe Someday. It's obviously a romance. That's what Coho does. So Cindy finds out her boyfriend is cheating on her. It brings her world to a total just standstill until she meets Ridge. They just can't ignore each other. It starts as kind of a romance, and they're just really super drawn to each other, and it's their story. And I think it also has to do with music. I'm not sure. I really don't know a lot about it. I've only read the back of the book, and I know it's Coho, so she's an auto buy for me. And then back to It Ends With Us, also by Colleen Hoover. So it's a book about a first love and a new love, and how they kind of intertwine, and how that can be at the ultimate price, and which love do you choose? I've heard it's super heartbreaking, so I'm ready to cry my eyes out with this one. Comment down below what your favorite book to cry to is. Just like music to cry to, you need a book to cry to as well. Okay, and then the last of the 16 books. This was very popular in 2021. The Midnight Library by Matt Hagg. So this is this is contemporary fiction. I think it might be the only contemporary fiction on this list. So this is a library that's between life and death. And every book in the library is another action in your life that you could have taken that would have made your life different. It allows you to make different choices and live your life in a different way than what actually happened. And that concept is super fascinating to me, especially the idea of there being a place between life and death, like kind of a limbo situation. Well, that's really cool to me too. So definitely excited to dig into this one. So yeah, that's the 16 books that I picked up recently. Most of them are used. I used Pango Books Some of them are new. I got a lot of them for Hanukkah, so it's a haul that's been building up. Yeah, so that's everything. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this first video, and please comment below videos you'd like to see from me, any ideas like that. I'm super open to doing absolutely anything. Okay, thank you. Bye.